Hello, hi everyone, welcome to this particular video. Today in this video we'll be talking about the freshers question for data engineering because I have posted many videos before also. That was for the intermediate people for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years of experience, but today we'll be very much focused on the freshers data engineering interviews, what are being asked in the interviews, what I ask as a data engineer like in data engineering interviewer. So all those kind of stuff will be there in this particular video. So let's start. As you can see on the screen, okay, who am I to guide you basically to just give you a background. Hi, my name is Anurag Srivastava. I am a senior data engineer, remote senior data engineer, and I have about 5+ years of experience in data engineering, core data engineering. Other than that, I have been mentoring people. I have mentored around 30 to 100+ people, paid individuals. Okay, so those things are there, more than 10,000 people across the platforms. Okay, so let's start. So as you can see on the screen, that is freshers questions of data engineering interviews that we are going to talk about, and I'll open my annotator also so that we have a better. Basically there are many people like if you're a fresher, basically you might have faced this issue. You go to the interview and there people are asking a different set of questions, different type of questions are being asked, and you are preparing randomly the theories and all. Because of that you get rejected. Okay, but if you want to be saved from those kind of opportunities and don't waste like you don't want to waste those kind of opportunities, you should see this video till the last. Because why freshers are getting rejected, there are several reasons to it. Okay, most of the freshers study random SQL definitions and all, and they will be like randomly studying SQL, randomly studying Python syntax, not exactly, they are just doing the theory. And in this era it is 2026, it is not like your 2000 2002 3 4 5, no, it is 2026. More sort of practical applications, more sort of practical learnings are important. Okay, so basically for that, basically what all things you are not aware about, how data is moving, end-to-end pipeline flow, you should, if you are not able to build those things, you should be at least having some idea about what exactly happens when a data flows in a pipeline. Okay, that you should know. I'm not saying exactly you should learn about those things, and how you will come to know in the next video. I'll be posting about the projects, in that you will be coming to know. Okay, so next thing, that is how system fails. Like suppose you have built some kind of script, after that what is happening, there something is failing, some system starts failing, some problem starts coming. So how exactly, what are the edge cases, how to handle those kind of recovery mechanisms and all, how to set up those things, that you are not aware about. Next thing is basically how you think, basically, that is if any failure is happening, any kind of failure is happened. Okay, so how exactly will figure out कि हाँ, this was the failure, these were my proper steps by which I will be finding out the failure issues and all, and these are my RCA root cause analysis I am doing, and after that I am giving a solution to it. Okay, that is not only about data engineering, that is how you should think. Next thing is your practical problems. You are not aware about the practical, you are just learning the theory and not aware about the solutions, how exactly to solve these kind of practical problems around. That is also very, very important. Next thing is basically interviewers. Like now interviews have changed. It is not basically previously people were asking more about the definitions, theory, and fill in the blanks on the paper. Like basically they were asking, tell me about this syntax, if you know about this, what exactly it is, tell me the definition of join, tell me definition about your list, what is a list, what is a set, what is a dictionary. People were asking this previously, but now there is a modern way. If you are going for data engineering, to be very specific, they will be asking you to design a high level architecture or high level things of how a live pipeline works. What are the sources, what are the target, how exactly to build a ETL pipeline, all those kind of a frame is required. Like that practical analysis, like these are my source, this is my transformation, this is my target, like that you have to explain the things. Okay, next thing, if anything is breaking in between, how to debug that broken job and all. Next thing, how to think like a data engineer. That is very, very important. So that's why you should not just memorize about the syntax, you should not only memorize about the things, you should be also aware about how exactly these things are happening, and these are the modern way, how to build this thing, how to build that thing, how to build this architecture. If any architecture, any problem is failing, so how exactly I'll figure out this was a problem, this is how I need to figure out those solution, and I need to give like this. That is how it happens now. Okay, that is also very, very important. Next thing is your basic questions. questions. Whenever you start with the basic questions are very important. Like because if you are aware about what data engineering is, what does data engineer do, then what does data, from where, what are the different type of the data sources, or from where the data comes, basically apps, APIs, databases, files, sensors, these kind of things. Why do companies hire them? Like why exactly a data engineer is required, why exactly a person is required to handle data engineering stuff and all, a separate person, that all kind of things are very, very important. Next thing is that is how it looks like. Basically this one, there is a apps and sources. There will be a source from where always the data will be generated. This will be the source. Next, a data warehouse where your data will be saved. At last, there will be a raw databases where you have been saving the data for any kind of analytics, any kind of configs, any kind of metadata issue, metadata things. All those kind of things are very important. Okay? So these things are very important. If you want to learn about these things, definitely see data engineering is one of the stuff. Basically, if you are aware about what data engineering is, what data engineer do, all those kind of things, so it is very important to learn about these things. Okay? If you want to learn everything from the scratch, we have a end-to-end bootcamp, our end-to-end data engineering DataX bootcamp, where there are so many people who have already cracked many offers in data engineering, coming from non-data background, production support background, non-coding background, non-data backgrounds. So if you want to also get into data engineering, definitely this bootcamp is for you. And we have an exclusive coupon code only for our YouTube people, that is YT_FAM, and it is there in the description. Link is there in the description. We have a support number where you can ask your question. If you have any kind of doubts, you can tap on that, go there and ask about those questions and all. So definitely all those kind of stuff are there. So everything is there in the description. Go there, tap there and use those things. Okay? Next thing, that is basically what exactly is data engineering. Data engineering is basically, it is a process of collecting, cleaning, transforming, moving and storing. Basically a data engineer is responsible to see, there are several type of, if you are working in a banking company, if you are working in a banking firm, Swiggy you are working, your Zomato you are working, Wells Fargo you are working, any kind of companies you are working, there will be different type of sources available. There will be a mobile app, there will be some external things, there will be some direct orders given from the call, you can give order, all those kind of stuff are there. So basically that is called as a sources. There will be different type of raw sources. How to take those raw sources, do the transformation and keep it at a place from where data analysts, data scientists, machine learning engineers, AI engineers can take that data and build any kind of system, use that for analytics, all those kind of things. So that is called as transform. That is a work of a data engineer basically. So that is what it is written, a process of collecting, cleaning, transforming, moving and storing the data so that business teams can actually use it. That is the work of a data engineer, and data engineer is responsible to collect the data, pull the data from different sources, transform the data, clean the data, validate the data, enrich the data, then at the last deliver the data to store the data, serve for the insights and all. That is the ultimate goal of a data engineer. Okay, very important. Next thing, what is that? If you don't know about the difference between a data engineer and data analyst, it is very important. And majorly I have seen that the fresher people who are in the college or want to get into data engineering with 0 years of experience, they are very much confused about data analytics and data engineering. So how exactly to figure out, or how exactly to know what is the difference between a data engineer and a data analyst? Very important, I'll tell you. That is a data analyst. A data analyst uses he uses. I'll just change the color of this. Okay, yellow lete hain. Chalo. So a data analyst uses the data, already existing data, proper structured data is there, so that a data analyst can use that data. That is the first difference. He uses the existing data. Next thing, SQL dashboards, insights, that all kind of stuff will be done by a data analyst. Next thing, creating the reports, answers what happened and all. Next thing about a data engineer. A data engineer is responsible for what? A data engineer will be responsible firstly to build the data systems, like how exactly to build that data system. Next thing, pipelines and automations, how to do that. Next thing, handle the scale and reliability of the data, how exactly if the data is increasing, because data engineers will be responsible for what? For handling big data. Big data means huge amount of data, terabytes of data, petabytes of data. If you want to handle 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 3 terabytes of data, 5, 10, 20 terabytes of data if you want to handle. That is that comes under the big data. And how exactly big data also deal with different types of data, that is structured data and also unstructured data and semi-structured data. Those kind of data is also there, like JSON type of data, XML type of data, PDFs, images, videos. These are the different types of the data. Unstructured data it is, and structured data means the data that is in row and column. Semi-structured means the JSON files and all, where key value pairs are there basically. So, or no SQL data, that is called as a semi structured data. Okay, so that is also important. So you can handle those kind of data, and how exactly the data will flow to the end system. There is a system, so that a raw data, different type of raw data are there. You want to segregate all those raw data and build a system, or build a central system. How exactly to build that flow? That is important. That is a work of a data engineer. Okay, very important. Next thing is ETL versus ELT. ETL versus ELT means very common. It is a very common interview question. That is, it is just the difference is between two things. That is, ELT means extract the data, load the data to the system, then after that, once the data is loaded, then transform the things. Second thing is ELT, the ETL, that is extract the data, transform the data, then load the data. Okay, this is a circle. This is for ETL, extract, transform and load. Extract, load and transform. Okay, these are the two differences between these things. So how exactly these things are basically extract data from somewhere. Now you want to bring the data firstly to the system. So load the data, then after that any kind of transformation you want to do, then do that. So that is how it works. Next thing is basically that is your what is the data pipeline. The data pipeline is basically an automated movement of the data from the source to destination. If you have different kind of data, like if you have a data pipeline means basically you have different kind of things, like basically there will be a source, there will be a destination. So how exactly the data will flow from a source to destination, because there will be intermediate steps also. If there is a source, there is a destination, directly data cannot flow. There will be small intermediate steps or intermediate what we say connectors or steps will be there, or different technologies will be there, different layers will be there. So how exactly these layers will help you to transform the data from a source to destination. So that is important, with cleaning the data, validating the data, scheduling, monitoring, build-in, all those kind of stuff are there. So basically that is a work of a data pipeline. There will be a source database, there will be Spark ETL, there will be cloud storage, there will be analytics. Okay, all those kind of system, all those kind of things are there. So that is the data pipeline. So can you explain this clearly? That is, there are very important two common things. If you have not worked on these things, it is very normal, it is very acceptable, but you should be aware. A normal understanding I'll give you. What is the difference between a batch and a real-time processing? Very common. Okay? So a batch processing is it will run every hour or a day. Like a schedule will be given. At this schedule I have to run the job, so that a small amount of data will be coming into the data, or small or big amount, or any kind of data at an interval basis. If you are running your job and on an interval basis data is coming, it is scheduled, running and getting the data from a source to destination, cleaning the data, process of like bulk data is there that can be processed, all those kind of like monthly payroll, daily reports, daily basis the job is running, hourly basis at every 5 minutes the data is running or the pipeline is running. That is also a batch processing. But whenever we are talking about a real-time processing says basically how you process the data instantly within the millisecond. As the data arrives, you have to process the data and give the data. So that one example I'll give you, that is you are working at Zomato. Okay, you have built a real-time pipeline so that if I am as a consumer, if I order something, directly I can see step by step where that rider has arrived, what is the status of my meal, whether it has been cooked, whether it has been prepared, whether the order has been picked up, where the rider is. I can see the movement of the rider, right? So that happens because of a real-time processing. Okay, that is called as a real-time. Processes the data instantly. Instant processing is there within minutes or seconds. So that is the example, is basically that is fraud detection or live tracking if you are doing. So that is the part of this thing. Okay, very important. Next thing is basically that is that is your this thing. So like there are different use cases. It is not like the batch process is good, or only I will use real time processing. There are different advantages and disadvantages, and the use case are also different of both the processing mechanism, but there is a use case. Okay, it is not like we have to compare both things, just we need to know why this thing is used and why that is used. If you want to instantly get the data processed, real time systems are important. If you are aware basically I will do the processing, or I will load the data at an interval, 5 minutes interval, 20 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, 7 hours, every day, every month, every weekend, I want to do these kind of processing I want to do. So I'll do a batch processing. Okay, that is how we figure out basically what type of processing I have to do. Next thing is basically that is your SQL rounds. Whenever we are talking about SQL round starts. So every data engineer interview includes SQL. SQL is very, very important. And if you are going as a fresher in data engineering interview, you should be aware about SQL. SQL should be like your strong point. Most strong will be the SQL. If you know about how exactly where to use where condition, where to use having, where basically I will be using post and pre aggregating filters and all those kind of stuff you are aware. Joins you are aware about. Group by you are aware. You are about a Windows function, how to remove the duplicates, how to do a partition, how to keep the latest data, all those kind of things. If you are able to rank the systems, if you are able to row number, you can find out, running totals you can find out, consecutive sum you can find out, all those kind of stuff if you can do. So that is the very strong point. You are already on a stronger point. So just to understand, we'll be taking some of the examples to understand about how like where condition, having condition, or these small stuffs are different. So first of all, that is where and having, where versus having. A quick difference I'll give you. That is where conditions will be used to row level filter if you want to do, before the group by if you want to give, so that you can do. But having is basically if you want to group a filter, and after the aggregation, if you want to check basically on the aggregating columns, like you want to apply the filters on the aggregating column. As you can see here on count star, I have to apply the filter. So how exactly what happens, basically I can apply on a aggregation column. So on a count star I have applied. Similarly, if a where condition is applied, it will be applied to a column basically, that is status is equal to paid. So it will be individual. It filters the individual row before the group by runs, but having will be running on the aggregation. And if the aggregation after the group by will run after, means having will run after the grouping is done and aggregation is done, then only these stuff will be done. Okay, very, very important. After the aggregation only having will be used. Before the aggregation, your filter rows, if you want to filter the rows, where conditions will be used, but having will be used after the aggregating the things and all. So that is very, very important to understand. Aggregating, if you want to apply the filters on the aggregating column, like count star, sum, average, these kind of columns if you want to apply, so at that point you will be using having. If you want to apply on non-aggregating columns, like any city, order, status, these kind of columns are there, so there you will be using your what is a where condition. Very, very important. Okay, so next thing is joins. Joins are of different types. Majorly are your inner join, left join, right join, full outer join. So whenever we are talking about anything, okay, that is if you want to select about the common things. So see, it is a crash video that I am telling you, so it is not enough to explain you the step by step things. But yes, if you want to learn, I have made many videos on SQL. Also I have made many videos on these things on the YouTube for free. You can use that. Other than that, if you want a structured path, we already have a bootcamp. You can ask your questions, ask your doubt, connect with me, all those kind of things you can ask. There is dedicated community also given to the people directly. You can learn about the stuff and all the things are there in the description. Like directly use those links and everything and leverage it. That is called as an inner join. The common part, if you want to hit between two tables, that is called as an inner join. It returns only the rows that is matching between both the tables. Next thing, left join, the matching rows and the left data that is left over from the left table. Similarly for the right join, the common one and from the right table I will give you. Whenever you talk about the full outer join means whatever the data is from the left, right and the common ones, everything will come. That is called as a full. Everything from the both tables if you want to hit, that will be coming in the full outer join. Okay, very important. So let's talk about the next one, that is a group by. Group by real example if you want to give, so I'll give you. That is if I want to figure out the total sales by the city, if I want to figure out, so I'll do this, select city comma sales. ठीक है, sum of the sales from orders group by city and total order by. So I am doing a group by on the city, that's why the data will be looking like this, like Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, and the total sales will be like this. So this is how the data will look like if you want to structure the data like this, like find the total sales by the city, all those kind of stuff if you want to do. So we'll be doing like this, very, very important. Next thing is basically Windows function. Windows functions are very important whenever you are talking about this thing. That is, Windows functions many people will ignore, and they go to the data engineering interview, there they get rejected. So never ignore it. If you're not understanding everything about Windows function, just take a basic idea what exactly a Windows function does. And the most used Windows functions are your row number, ranking, your sum, over, lead lag. Just take an idea about. So if you are aware about these things, it will be helpful. And on HackerRank go and solve some questions. Okay, it will be helping you a lot. Next thing is basically that is your row number. Row number basically, if you want to generate sequential number automatically and unique 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 1000 2000 3000 like that, if you want to generate, so it will be done by the row number. Ranking, if you want to do, you want to like tie the rank, like 1 2 3 ranking on the basis of something. You can do a rank, or a dense rank is also there. Okay, so that you can do. Next thing is sum. You want to run some running total, or what we say, consecutive sums and all those kind of stuff can be done via this, that is sum. Okay, very, very important. So that you can do. Next thing is basically removing the duplicate. We already talked about this. So removing the duplicate is very, very important, because, and this is one of the very common real interview question that can be asked to you in the interviews. That is, how exactly you will be able to remove the duplicates from my table. So how exactly you will do, that is, duplicate exists, firstly I'll figure out. Next thing, I'll assign a row number to it, and I'll only keep the row number that is equal to 1. That is what I have used here. What row, your Windows function, row number Windows functions I have used. That is, I have declared a CTE here, common table expression, and here basically I have done a row number over this, and I will be only choosing where row number is equal to 1. So it will be only taken, because I have done a partition by, order by, and I have done a over on this. So it will be giving the data in a proper sequence. So it will be giving a row number also, 1 2 3. So whichever the row number is equal to 1, because I have partitioned on the customer ID, so directly whichever is greater than 1, it will be not, because that will be duplicate. If it is not duplicate, it will be equal to 1 only. So I'll be using only 1 1. Okay, so that is how we figure out that. Next thing is basically Python for data engineering. Okay, I'll just give you an example or some walkthrough of this thing. That is, Python for data engineering, very, very important, like list versus tuple, dictionary, real CSV, exception handling, functions, very, very important. These are topics. I am telling you some of the topics. If you learn these topics, it will be helping you to crack the interviews of data engineering very easily. Okay? Just learn these things, you will be able to crack any data engineering interview. So let's go to the main part. That is basically one by one. Let's explore. That is big data round. Big data round will be there. People will be asking about what is Spark, what is distributed system, what is big data. Just take an example. Like basically, what is Spark? Spark is an engine, a distributed engine to do the distributed processing. If you want to do distributed parallel processing, in memory parallel processing, you will be using Spark. Okay? That is the major work. It is a distributed engine. Okay? Processing engine. It is a in-memory processing engine, in-memory parallel distributed processing engine that will be helping you to handle terabytes and petabytes of data at the scale you can do. One machine cannot simply do those all things. That's why we use Spark to like leverage the distributed computing and directly do the processing. Okay? That is the work of the Spark. What is partitioning? Like directly splitting the data into the chunks so that multiple workers can process it in parallel, and it is dramatically very faster if you use partition and all. Why is distributed computing? So we will be learning about scale, horizontal, all those kind of things. So all these kind of stuff are already covered in the bootcamp. If you want to learn about these things in very detail, everything is there. Okay? Next thing is scenarios. There will be scenario based question also. Like if a file has duplicate, how exactly you will be doing the duplicate, deduplication of the thing. So already we have covered covered this. Just a overview I've given, that use a row number, directly do those all type of things. If any pipeline is failing at night, what exactly you will do? You will be checking what exactly you will check. You will check the logs, source connectivity and all, disk space, alerts, stakeholders to the alerts or to the developer, whatever kind of stuff you will be doing, that will be doing for the failure ones. Source and schema, suppose the source schema change suddenly, what exactly you will do, how you will figure out those things. Because if a source schema will change, the pipeline will start breaking, the pipeline will fail. Validation, alerts, how to generate, all those kind of stuff will be asked to you as you are fresher also. So these are the things. If you are want to learn about these things, already I told you that end-to-end learning, if you want to zero to job ready, you can do. You need to learn about SQL Python, very important, and it is very important because for any data engineering interviews you will go, this will be the core. They will be asking about SQL and Python very frequently, and that is how you get a good package also. Next thing is Spark and cloud. Next thing is real projects you have to learn about, portfolio ready pipelines you have to make. Next thing is interview prep you have to do, like those kind of interviews, focus questions and all. If you want to do all those kind of stuff, already we have covered in our data engineering bootcamp. If you want to learn, already I have told you from where you can get those things, from where you can learn all those things. Links are there in the description. Coupon code I have given. If you have some doubts, you can ask in the comments, or already we have a support number, directly you can ask on the WhatsApp itself. All those kind of stuff I already given to you. So that was it. And if you have any type of doubts, any type of topics you want me to cover, the comment section is open for you. Go and comment, and directly I'll be seeing all those comments, replying to you, and I'll be considering all the suggestions and everything to make another video. Thank you so much for watching this. Meet you in the next video.